The Giannis Antetokounmpo reports continue to escalate by the day, and now we have brand new information suggesting we know which teams Giannis is looking to land with after he forces his way out of Milwaukee this season. I'm here to break down all the bits and pieces on this episode of Heat Digest, but first, remember, if you're part of the 80% currently watching this video who are not currently subscribed, please scroll down, click the subscribe button. It means the world to us. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to the massive news surrounding the Giannis Antetokounmpo updates, as we brought the first video to you guys yesterday on this topic, and now we have even more information, and it continues to get juicier and juicier by the day because Milwaukee simply continues to lose games. They've won their first game against the Philadelphia 76ers in, again, their home or their NBA season opener, but then they have lost 4 consecutive games, and things look like they are in a tailspin in Milwaukee. And again, for a Miami Heat supporter, a Miami Heat fan, I'm great seeing this, not only because the Miami Heat are now in connects with another Milwaukee Bucks star, not Damian Lillard this time, but Giannis Antetokounmpo, but also the Milwaukee Bucks not doing as well is pretty good for this Miami Heat team, regardless of whether or not they're going to benefit from a massive blockbuster trade later this season. Now, we're going to cite NBA Central first off of Twitter, saying Giannis Antetokounmpo's preferred trade destinations could be the Miami Heat or the Brooklyn Nets, per Sports Writer. Going on to say, and I quote, a third executive from an Eastern Conference team said they have heard Antetokounmpo's preferred trade destinations would be the Miami Heat or the Brooklyn Nets. And that's the end of the quote from the article we are now going to cite. Again, this is huge. This is massive, not only for this Miami Heat team specifically, but really the entirety of the Eastern Conference in the league overall. Giannis is a transcendent player. I don't care if he plays for the Charlotte Hornets, the New York Knicks, the Clippers, the Lakers. You can put him on any team. He is going to make a significant impact night in and night out, whether it's individually or a overall team effort from Giannis, in the sense that he's going to get his teammates involved. He's not going to do it exclusively on the offensive end, but as well on the defensive end. As we know, he is a two-way player and an elite one at that. So we get to this article that's titled NBA Trade Rumors. Bucks Giannis linked to Heat Nets by insiders. Teams, quote, circling. This is written by Julia Starborough, so we'll get to it and break down the actual quotes that, again, are pretty massive. Going on to say, and I quote, teams are circling and hopeful, end of quote. An anonymous executive from a Western Conference team told CBS Sports Bill Ryder. Going on to say, another NBA executive told Ryder that they, quote, wouldn't be surprised, end of quote, if an Antetokounmpo trade happened by the February 6th trade deadline this season. Yes, this season. A third executive for an Eastern Conference team said that they've heard Antetokounmpo's preferred trade destinations would be the Miami Heat or the Brooklyn Nets, per Ryder. And again, this is affecting the Miami Heat not only because they are involved in these trade rumors, but as well as because, the Milwaukee Bucks are in shambles. And we'll break down last night's game, as Milwaukee needs help, and specifically Giannis needs some help, and he either needs to get out of Dodge or he needs more help. And obviously we have to acknowledge the fact that Chris Middleton is not currently healthy and playing for this Milwaukee's Bucks team. But again, they have Damian Lillard, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis. These guys are elite level talents on the NBA stage, whether they be starters or coming off the bench. These guys are elite players, not only for the Milwaukee Bucks, but again, would be very good pieces on any championship level team. And again, if you don't think otherwise, Bobby Portis is not a perfect player by any means, but he's a damn good basketball player that plays his role damn near perfectly. Yes, he can score the basketball. Yes, he has better night shooting than others. There's no way around that. But his ability to defend, his energy, just being a glue guy amongst the locker room and on the floor is unquestionable. He is that guy. He's not scared of any challenge, any competition, and again, a great piece. Brook Lopez is a legit stretch 5. We've seen him shoot threes for years now. Yes, obviously he's not a marksman. He's not Steph Curry by any means, but again, a good stretch 5 with the ability to rebound. Last night against the Memphis Grizzlies, in a horrible effort overall from this Milwaukee Bucks team outside of Giannis, they got stomped. They were down 58-80 at one point. Dame had 2 or 4 points. He ended with 4 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, and a steal. look at the plus minuses up and down. Giannis is the only one close to a good plus minus, and he was dead even. Again, and his stat line was 37 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, a block, and again, a even plus minus. He did shoot 77% from the field. Again, like I said, you can put this man on any team in the NBA. I don't care. You could put him on a Division III team. He is going to make them look like a competitor because of how good and how transcendent he is. But again, let's get to it and break down the next scene. Here is obviously the last 4 games, or the first 4 games, if you will, the first 5 games, if you will, for this Milwaukee Bucks team. Obviously winning the first game 124-109 over the 76ers. Again, they didn't have Paul George or Joel Embiid. They have yet to have either of those guys play for this team, and obviously they are struggling because of it. But this Milwaukee Bucks team then plays the Bulls at home, and they lose to Zach LaVine and Kobe White and Vucevic in the Bulls. Then they go to Brooklyn, and they lose to a Brooklyn Nets team with Cam Thomas and Dorian Finney-Smith and Dennis Schroeder. Like, that is not a great team. Obviously, Boston is a powerhouse. They had a respectable loss there, only losing by 11 points. But then the Grizzlies, and they almost 30-ball you. That cannot happen. Obviously, they win by 23. 3 straight games on the road, all of them being losses, including that 4th game ago against Chicago at home. These teams are not elite. 3 of these 4 teams, if you will, out of the last 4 that they've dropped, have come against teams that you don't really go into the season and really through the first 4 games have much expectations for. So there may be flags being waved over in Milwaukee, and things seem like they are in a tailspin once again for this Milwaukee Bucks team. And to add a little bit of salt to the wound, this is the injury report for the Memphis Grizzlies as of this morning. But again, if you go through the actual comments, the guys that are listed day to day did not play last night's game against this Memphis Grizzlies team. An overall horrible performance from this Milwaukee Bucks team, and there's no way around it. Yes, we have to acknowledge the fact that Ja Morant did have a phenomenal night. He ended with a triple-double, 20-plus points, 14 assists, 10 rebounds, a steal and a block plus on the defensive side of the ball. Played very, very good. And he had a lob he was sitting down inside the three-point line, yes, but again, he threw a lob from sitting in an upright position off the floor. Just an overall a horrible look for this Milwaukee Bucks team last night, and there's really no way around it. Now, this is Sports Writer, if you will. This is who we've been citing this entire time through the article. And this is him live on CBS saying this, and I quote, "There's a rising sense of confidence that if things go badly in Milwaukee, that Giannis could be available for trade, would really force his way out of Milwaukee in the next year." And that's the end of the quote, again, from Sports Writer, from CBS News, or CBS Sports News. This is huge, and I keep saying that, but if Milwaukee is going down like this, and they're in this much of a tailspin without someone in Chris Middleton, after just acquiring Damian Lillard, if Giannis moves, obviously if they are going to get a lump sum back, there's no way around it. Giannis has been, like I mentioned earlier, a transcendent player, and it doesn't matter which team he plays for. But if he goes to Miami, if he goes to Brooklyn, I'm not sure what Brooklyn would give up in order to get Giannis. If that is a possible trade destination, Cam Thomas, Dorian Finney-Smith, Johnson off the power forward. Johnson is a pretty good piece. Just what are we going to do? If Miami seems like a much reliable option in the sense that we have so much more trade value, do we move Jimmy Butler, the expiring veteran who has one more year on his deal that, again, is a player option? And again, the contracts are very close compared to what Giannis is being paid, as this year he'll be getting $54 million. His final year of his contract will be in the 27-28 year. And again, that will be a player option as well as Jimmy Butler's. And he'll be given $62 million. I apologize, the font is a little small, that's why I keep leaning into my screen. But again, $62 million in that third and final year of his contract. Again, that would be in the 2027-2028 season. So a little bit more of a burden when it comes to the cap room for this Miami Heat team if we were to make some trades and go out and get Giannis. But again, if we move someone like Jimmy Butler and another piece or two with a draft pick, could we see Giannis land in a Miami Heat jersey and really turn around this Miami Heat team? Now, obviously, this Miami Heat team, you've heard me say, don't trade Jimmy, but I really don't want to give up Bam. And obviously, Bam is the younger piece compared to Jimmy Butler. Would you rather move Jimmy? Would you rather move Bam? It's not going to be a straight-up trade. There's no way around it. We're going to have to add a few other pieces and possibly a few draft assets in order to go get someone like Giannis. But if Giannis really applies his leverage and really applies some pressure to this Bucks team, do they pull the trigger a little early for just not enough trade value and really allow this Miami Heat to gain a win in that transaction? I feel like that's a possibility still. Obviously, it's a long shot. There's no way around it. But again, could we see this Miami Heat team make a trade surrounding Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo, plus or minus a few assets, to go out and get Giannis Antetokounmpo by this trade deadline? Seems very possible. The only problem is I don't believe in Pat Riley to go out and make a move like this due to him being who he is and wanting to win. Does Giannis improve this team? Yes, but again, depending on the amount of assets we have to give up to go out and get him, could leave us short-handed, because I don't believe we're going to get Giannis plus another at least valuable piece in that sense if we do this trade with Milwaukee, unless we are giving up even more than what I'm expecting this Miami Heat to have to give up. Obviously, the contracts are going to be an issue. There's no way around that. But when it comes down to overall trade value, this Miami Heat's roster is loaded. Obviously, the starting lineup with Rozier, Hero, Butler, Adebayo, and Jovic, there's a plentiful of pieces there. And then obviously we get into the bench and we have role player after role player that really, obviously they fit in greatly in Miami, and I've made this speech before, and they're not going to play as good in other places than they do in Miami just because they won't have Eric Spoelstra. They won't fit into that system as appropriately as they probably will in Miami. So again, could Miami get away with some form of fleece here over or for Giannis Antetokounmpo? I think it's a possibility, but again, I'm not sure if we could even see this trade unless Pat Riley would like to move Jimmy Butler this season. And again, that I don't believe is a far-stretched thing. Obviously, I think that relationship is in good enough tact where he won't be moved. You've heard me say this time and time again up to this point through the offseason and now through the regular season for this Miami Heat team. But again, now there's conversations about Bam Adebayo being moved, and it seems like there's about split. People are okay with giving up Bam if Giannis is the person coming back in a Miami Heat jersey. Again, I'm very split. If you made me pick between the two, I would vote to give up Jimmy Butler. I think I would vote to give up Jimmy Butler. I don't want to see Bam go to another Eastern Conference team. But again, I'm going to let Pat Riley play the cards he's been dealt and see how things play out for this Miami Heat team. Again, a very, very, very loaded episode here. Please let me know down in the comments what you guys think about all of this news and what could possibly happen for this Miami Heat team going forward.